Today in my spare time, we're making two separate flags. One, a thin blue line for a friend of mine who is retired from the police department of my hometown in Naugatuck, Connecticut. And the other one is a thin green line for a friend of mine who is in the Marine Corps, also from Naugatuck. We're going to start with 1x4 furring strips, 8 feet long. Each length of the flag is going to be 37 inches. Measure that out and make 14 separate strips. I just used the top cut to line up the second one to make things faster. Next, I take it over to my table saw and I trim off 1/8 of an inch just to square up the wood. Next, I set the guard at 1.5 inches. And I'm able to get 2.5 inch strips out of each length. Usually I'd only need 7 boards to do this to make one flag, but since I'm making 2, I have 14. I laid each flag out 13 strips in a row, each 1.5 inches. Next, I take the Union stencil that I use to line up the edge, and I just mark it with a pencil. Next, I take a straight edge and I score the pencil line. This does 2 things. It'll prevent the flame and the stain from running on the grain. It'll give me a clean look, separating the Union from the stripe. Next, I burn the wood. This is one of my favorite parts. It really brings out the grain of each wood stripe, and each one has a separate character. The Union gets burned darker. This is what all the dark stripes and the Union looks like burned. Then I add the lighter stripes in. I just go over them lightly. There's one that's all burned, one's ready to be burned, and there they both are. Each flag is a black and white rustic. So what I did was I took a black stain, go over all the dark stripes and Union, and wipe it away right away. This allows the burned wood and the characteristic of the grain to come through. Here's the finished product before we do any of the etching. But before that, we have to attach the wood braces to the back. I use wood glue and 4 braces for each one. Then I just use my brad nailer and nail them all in. Then we take it to the workbench and use the Dremel to etch out all the stars that we traced out with the stencil. This is the most time-consuming part of the project, but I find it to be somewhat therapeutic. It's kind of like coloring, but if you go outside the lines, you have to start the whole project over. And there's the last one. Next we have a stain. Both flags are getting a satin stain. The thin green line is only getting one coat because it's going to be staying inside. Doesn't need to be protected from the weather or the elements. But I'm shipping this blue one down to Florida and it's going to be outside. So we want to make sure we put on several coats, protecting not only from the rain, but the sun. There's it. They're all done. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked it. Subscribe if you like to see more videos. Give me a thumbs up and tell me what you think. Thanks a lot and have a great day.